Woman stops when she sees trash bag moving, stunned by what is inside. The trash bag was moving, slowly inching into the road. She eased a foot on her car's brake. She wasn't sure if her sickness made her imagine things or if the bag was truly moving. With her car almost stopping, she stuck her head out of the window to see what was happening. That's when she saw it clearly. When Lizzie decided to go home that afternoon, she'd only wanted to spend the rest of the day away from all the hassle of work. She'd been working throughout the week despite her sickness and couldn't wait to get home. But such a simple drive would result in one of the most life-altering experiences she'd ever faced. Lizzie Happy was your average 35-year-old mom living in Denver, Colorado. A single parent looking to forge a good life for her tiny family, Lizzie lived with her two daughters Nancy and Tina. Their life was always quiet, given Lizzie's occupation as a librarian and the fact that her kids were both under 5. But what would happen that afternoon would propel their lives into the public spotlight. Lizzie had worked as a librarian for more than 2 decades before the incident took place. Her occupation was usually as laid back as her personal life. She'd report early in the morning for work and clock out in the evening. That fateful week, Lizzie had come down with a terrible cold that would pull her from her daily routine. It had been a great week until Lizzie started coughing. Her nose grew stuffy and her throat sore. Her joints were aching before she knew it and her head was pounding. But although she was far from her best self, Lizzie didn't shun her responsibilities as a mom and provider. She got her kids ready for school, had her sister drive them, and reported for work. Then everything started falling apart. First came the fatigue and the insistent coughing. Then muscle pains followed. Lizzie's boss noted that she was under the weather and told her to take the rest of the day off. It was an hour past noon, and Lizzie thought it'd be a good idea to take her boss up on that offer. She had no idea what was waiting for her on the way home. Lizzie got into her car and began her long drive home. She couldn't wait to jump into bed and sleep. As tired as she was, she took a different route home, hoping to avoid traffic. As expected, the road ahead was clear and Lizzie was cruising as carefully as she could. But as she reached the open road, she noticed something ahead that made her brows furrow. A black trash bag was far ahead on the roadside immediately caught her attention. She leaned forward to get a closer look, finding it odd that someone would throw trash on the empty roads. Lizzie didn't think much of it after noting she was looking at a trash bag. But as she got closer, she noticed something interesting about the bag. The trash bag was moving, vigorously shambling all over the road. Lizzie eased on her car's brake. She wasn't sure if her sickness made her imagine things or if the bag was truly moving. With her car almost stopping, she stuck her head out of the window to see what was happening. That's when she saw it clearly. Something was stuck inside the bag, a creature, from the look of things. It was jumping about, hissing as the trash bag moved across the road. Not knowing what to do, Lizzie pulled out her phone and started recording the incident. Her curiosity was telling her to get out and investigate, while her fear kept her rooted to her seat. A minute passed, and Lizzie knew she couldn't stay in the car anymore. She threw her door open with her phone recording and carefully took her steps toward the moving trash bag. Out of the car, she could hear growls and snarls emanating from the black polythene bag. At first, she was scared, but then the snarls became whining and crying. She couldn't step away now. Lizzie took a deep breath and stepped near the bag. She inched closer and gently poked it with her phone. Whatever was inside whined, the sound telling her that the animal was in distress. Throwing all caution to the wind, Lizzie unwrapped the bag as fast as possible, her lips parting when she saw what awaited her inside. She thought the worst when she first saw the trash bag move. Her imagination told her a giant snake was waiting for her inside. But even then, she couldn't leave the poor animal trapped inside the bag. She neared and opened the bag as quickly as possible and then jumped back, but what came out made her inch closer as her lips curled. "A puppy," Lizzie intoned, beckoning the tiny fella to her. The pup ran to her and licked her hands while wagging her tail. It must have tangled itself while playing with the bag. Lizzie helped it into the car with her phone recording and drove away. She sent out a notice on her social media about the dog as soon as she got home. As an animal lover, she couldn't imagine what the pup's owner was going through. A month passed without anyone claiming the puppy. Lizzie and her daughters had already incorporated him into their family. Lizzie's video also made her internet famous, with people commending her for her bravery and heart of gold. Although she'd recovered from her cold, she was glad that such a dark experience had given rise to one of the best things for her family. The puppy, who they named Pete, was where he was always meant to be.